Hey everyone, how are you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I am going to be conducting a reading for the collective. Well, not the entire collective. It's really for those who have been ready for a while and have taken action following the discoveries of what's been going on and the realization of entrapment and the decision to move on, so that you can sort of be on your own unique path. So obviously it's been a while since I've done my last reading. There has been much change, as you are all aware, because of your own inner experiences, as well as what's been going on outside of yourselves. And there's been this growing feeling within everybody that what you were attached to before, you may have been really into it, really invested your time and energy into it. But there's something going on now where you have to kind of take a step back and make a decision and a choice as to whether or not it's ideal to stay in that same mindset and frequency, or to decide to sever ties and move on. And the reason why you're moving on is because you have felt the inner calling, the soul calling within your heart space. And you need to give yourself some room to breathe so that you can incorporate more of these energies that you're feeling now. Before I get into this, I really need you to kind of like ground yourselves, use your own discernment. And if this is something that really doesn't feel like it's for you, don't waste any more time. Just click off from this reading and then focus on something that does align with you. Okay? This isn't about holding anybody in by using some form of entertainment here, because this isn't about entertaining anymore. This is about enlightening the consciousness that's within yourself and making your own sovereign choice as to whether or not you want to still be in something that, all right, it's toxic, you're there to heal, but then you yourself are feeling slightly depleted, and that doesn't really sit right within your soul. Right? I got a downloaded message yesterday, and the message was simply this: even though we are aware, it doesn't mean we don't care. And that was a very strong message that was for the collective. Now, it kind of felt to me that it was a bit of a two kind of thing going on here. So from one aspect, it was about what's going on within yourselves and the decision to kind of like, gradually retreat back from a particular group or a particular way of thinking or a particular narrative. It doesn't mean that you are severing ties through hating or anything like that, because there's so much of that online and off. But it just feels as if it's just, you're getting kind of like narrative fatigue, community fatigue, all these little pockets of different groups that have, sort of like people drawn to, different mindsets and then playing out their assumptions on what the truth really is. And then at the end of the day, they're still in the same situation. And it kind of gives off this feeling of a merry-go-round, which is done by design, so that it will just keep you in an infinite loop of confusion of what the truth is and what the truth isn't. And as time goes by, you're not really feeling that you are achieving anything anymore, And then you realise, hold on a minute, am I in a trap here? So, and this also felt like this was coming from upstairs. That's the reason why they haven't actually come down here yet. But that's a kind of very complex situation that I feel that can be discussed at a later time, or for those of you who are in contact with your people upstairs, they will give you further insight into that. But that's definitely down to an individual thing, and you'll leave that to another time. But what I'm really drawing on, really and truly in this reading, is the decision of gradually shifting out, phasing out from certain groups, narratives, subscriptions on YouTube or any other social media platform. The narratives just feel as if they are designed to keep you bound to the deception that is dressed up as truth. And you know, it's all bullshit. So I've already got the cards laid out. These are the cards that I was so drawn to the energy yesterday. I just needed to get my decks out and find out what this is, what I was feeling. The cards kind of confirmed exactly what I was feeling when I got that downloaded message about, even though we are aware, it doesn't mean that we don't care. So I'm going to talk you through the tarot first, and then deal with the oracle cards, and then I'll finish off the reading with another oracle deck that I've got, just so that I can sort of like shuffle and show you, because this is already done. All right, and then usually when I do readings, I like to shuffle the deck, and then you can see, and then you are going through the reading with me at the same time as myself. Or, you know, we're not bound by time, and that's all an illusion and bullshit to keep you in an infinite loop of despair. So first up, we have got the Page of Swords. As you can see, okay. So this Page of Swords is here. I'll just name out the cards and then I'll discuss further. We've got the Ten of Swords upright. Okay, Ten of Swords upright. Got the Devil in the reverse. Then we have got Temperance in the reverse. We have got the Seven of Swords in the upright position. We've got the Ten of Discs, the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Got the Nine of Discs in the reverse. And then we've got the Two of Discs in the reverse. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups upright. So, right off the bat, let's focus attention on the Page of Swords. So, to me, this felt as though this was this decision, this discovery within. Because everything right now is about going within. There's been so much change over the past few days, past couple of weeks. What you were into last week or the week before, you're not into it no more. Or you are looking at it from a different angle or a different perspective, and it doesn't hold it doesn't gel you to it anymore. Okay, I'm also feeling a feeling of just things falling away, breaking away, flaking away, dissolving into the ethers and being returned to source, or going on to another person. But what I sensed here was this fact of the way how you can see, the way how this person, this being, is kind of looking in one direction, but you notice the sword is looking upright towards the truth and gaining some kind of message. If you notice down here, it's got some books. Now, we know it's books, but this can also be pieces of himself that are no longer applicable anymore. And there's something about this need to seek internal truth from, a better, more clearer connection. And if you notice how there's clouds that's coming through still, they like to cover up the skies so that you can't really see what the hell is going on with their chemicals. But some way, somehow, you're determined to get through, because this calling, this need, there's also this feeling of, I'm getting blue flame, obviously, violet flames, the birds, but you're paying more attention to the elements around you. You may have seen some kind of orbs around you, or had dreams of elementals. You yourself may be somebody who's very attuned to the elementals or dragons energies, but there's something that is going on within you. And also notice the way how the hair is. I hope it's not blurring. Okay. And you know what they say about hair? Well, every part of your body, is tuned in. Okay. You're definitely not the same person as you were, even when you watched the previous reading, if you watched the previous reading. You're looking now for the truth of the matter of who you are as a being. I need to remember who I am. I need to step back into my own stillness so that I can vibrate towards my own resonance, so that I can then reconnect with the one true consciousness, because what's going on down here really isn't for me anymore. I also get this feeling of the way how it was kind of giving me, I know it's Page of Swords, but it was almost kind of giving me the Three of Wands, like when the person is looking out at the ocean, usually say it's from a distance or waiting for their ships or spaceships to come in. But there was this feeling of discovering something about yourself so that you can take further action towards it. Whatever you're going to be thinking about, you're going to want to take action on it. All right. So guys, if you can see kind of movement or these little lights, at the minute the sun is really shining bright where I am, so you might see these little bright things, but it's just the reflection from my rings. So the labels are falling off, like who you are, and what people expect of you. It just really doesn't matter. But what I'm also looking at as well is the way how it's almost like looking back, but it's almost like, as I said, even though we are aware, it doesn't mean that we don't care. And I do feel that there has been, now this may be a verbal conversation you may have had or with somebody, or, there's a feeling of energetically, removing yourself away from a situation that really doesn't apply anymore. Okay. The Ten of Swords to me feels as if this was the final nail in the coffin. Something had to give here. I'm also, I was also sensing that this could even be about certain people that, they're in a situation, but you kind of have to make a decision to leave them behind. I know it sounds like, again, as I said, it doesn't mean that you don't care, because sometimes when you move away from certain people, they may get angry with you because you're no longer able to hold the frequency and vibration with them anymore because of the shift in the consciousness, but also there's this calling for you to really, now you need to step in your path. And if you are somebody who really wants to help people, being of service to others, how can you help people if you are sitting down in a situation, trauma bonding, and you still want to be able to help people? It's not really going to work. There has to be a choice to be made. You have to look after yourself first before you start to look after other people. You have to know and feel what healing actually feels and looks like, so that you can then relay that to another, give them the inspiration, and in their own time, they will find their way. There may be a feeling of betrayal. You may get people that may be really pissed off with you and throw accusations like you're compromised, you've been bought and paid for, you're a shill, this, that, and the other. But there's also a feeling of just standing in a stillness, being grounded, acknowledging that what maybe somebody's going through at this time, holding sacred space for them, holding that compassion, holding that love, and envisioning that one day they will find their way, because you can't force people to do anything that they are not actually ready to do, because there may be a reason as to why they have to be in that position, in that place. It's really multi-layered, it's very complex. It's not just about them, because on the surface in the 3D it looks really like, oh, this is a real shit situation. But energetically, that person could have untapped codes that they are there meant to really hold down that grid and break up whatever energy has been around. And this is why they are feeling so conflicted and attacked, right? But that's just one possibility. It doesn't necessarily mean to say that that's actually what's going on. So again, let's just kind of like be open-minded to what is going on there. Now, this is great to see the Devil card in reverse. And if you can see, this kind of looks like a familiar type of being who is sort of like the common enemy of this planet. But this fella is really fucking pissed off. Really pissed because it's in the reverse, and somehow, some way, people are getting away. The frequencies are raising, and this guy can't really hold on to people as he did before. Okay. Yes, there are still certain people there, but also what I was getting was like with these kind of like frequency fences around, people's aura, like to try to keep them compelled and trapped within the infinite loop, the merry-go-round of the narratives and the podcast after podcast after podcast, and oh, I've got the latest intel and this and the other. And it's like, hold on a minute. Intel? You're not giving me intel. You're keeping me in hell. And that's not for me anymore. And yeah, at some point in time, you may have been involved and, sort of like drawn to these types of podcasts. But how many podcasts is it going to take until when you realize that enough is enough? Because you're going to start to get that kind of like intel fatigue, podcast fatigue, and noticing that certain groups are still confined into these type of walled off groups and spaces, but there doesn't seem to be any growth. They may be talking so much about it, but there's no, like, where's the action? The thing with disclosure, what disclosure? Sounds like a psyop to me, because you know that they're not going to bloody tell you the whole bloody truth, because it's going to be covered up with so much lies in order to keep the narrative going and thriving. If we give you an infinite loop of rabbit holes with a little bit of information here, a little bit of information there, they've already got people pegged out already. They always must have the handle, and the rest of the population must always have the blade. That's their way of thinking. However, things have changed where this person thought, fuck that. I'm taking control of my life. I'm taking my power back, my sovereignty back, but most important is your consciousness back, and sever ties from this fool. And then with the Temperance card in the reverse, this is the energy that sits right next to the Devil energy, because this isn't really being in peace. This is really giving a very, unbalanced energy because of what you would have been coming away from that. This may be recent. Remember, even though you may say and feel, well, I'm just going to move away from, some kind of group and, protect myself and shield myself and this and the other. Don't be fooled into thinking that it's just a one-off thing. Like, just say it and that's it. I'm shielded, I'm protected. This Devil energy, this reptilian, this draconian, they will never give up in trying to hold on to what they believe is theirs. They will always find an intricate way, some way, somehow, to hold on to their product. They look on you as theirs, their prize, their Happy Meal. And the fact that people are slipping away due to the rise of the frequency in these shifts, they're fucking pissed off. Can't have that. It really upsets them. So they will try every kind of angle that they can in order to still come up with some kind of site, some kind of narrative, introduce somebody into your life to try to trick you. But you have to stand strong. You have to be grounded. And with the Seven of Swords, to me, even though this can mean, again, deception, this can also mean about strategy in figuring out how to get the hell out of this reality and into the reality that you actually want. It's all to do with the war on consciousness and how you fix yourself and know how to see the reality, see the illusions for what they are. It will be a better advantage to yourself. You will have more leverage there. Right? Again, and then what I was getting as soon as I saw this card was, oh yeah, like the feeling of waiting for the ships to come in. Take me away. Then we've got the 10 of discs. Now this is where I was feeling this, because it's obviously next to the 7 of swords. But there was this feeling of like the community that, or the groups of people, this can even be family based, where you no longer feel that you are in alignment with their collective consciousness anymore. This can be obviously within families or within a local community, or it can even be broader. But it just feels as if you just can't relate to them anymore. It just doesn't feel like it's really for you. You've just expanded beyond their constraints. And for some of you, this feels as if like, you know that I'm only here for a time being. And it is time for me to start shifting away from the norm of society, so that I can then be really on my true path of where I know that I'm destined to be. Some of you may call yourselves starseeds and all these other labels. And for others of you, you feel that the labels no longer apply to you anymore. Not out of ego, but out of further awareness that if everything in this realm is an illusion, then what the hell am I getting stressed for? What the hell am I getting myself in a twist for? The reason why these things feel that way is because of who set these matrices up and these systems up, because they want you to stay there. They want you to feel compelled and drawn and, oh my God, I have to be a slave for the rest of my life down here. That's what they want you to be. And for those people who have followed the narrative, these can even be like the NPCs that we talk about, because obviously they're bound where they're going. Okay, they're the programs, they're the placeholders for you to go through your experiences with. But there's something about the way how, even though, like, just saying, saying for example, family members that don't seem to understand or get you, or they never did, but now you're standing further in your truth. Even though you're starting off as a page of swords, you've got to start off from somewhere. But this sword really feels, I mean, look how tall it is as well. This, lightsaber or whatever, but this feels as if this is a sword that has much more than what it is. It's not just something that, like is a novelty. I'm also getting, oh my gosh, I'm not talking about Star Wars, but I was just thinking about the old time cartoon He-Man and the sword that glows. Sorry if I just moved the camera a bit. I have the power. You have the power, right? You're one of the most powerful beings in the universe, which is something that these little fuckers don't want you to know. They don't want you to know how powerful you are. So they will throw every kind of bullshit playbook at you, just so to keep you like, oh, really? you know? They want you to not be sovereign. They want you to be in the Nine of Discs, but in the reverse. And for some of you, this is you walking away from careers, walking away from certain things that you were expected to do. And it just didn't feel like it fitted in with you anymore, like where you are right now in your life. It felt like it was stifling you. Career fatigue, right? Finding a better way of doing something that you enjoy now, realistically speaking. All right, we know that the money system is a load of shit, but, you know, in order, you need to get by, you need to live. How are you going to live? How are you going to eat? Are you going to become a breatharian and live off of fresh air and drink the rays of the sun? Your vessels are not designed in that way, or have been really augmented to the point of where you need to have something to eat, even if it holds no nutritional value. You need some kind of substance to keep you going. And then there's this instability with the Two of Swords, or sorry, not the Two of Swords, I beg your pardon, the Two of Pentacles or the Two of Discs being in the reverse. There was this feeling of imbalance. You know, the toxicity was just keeping you very, very unaligned. You wasn't able to really become authentic. And this is what you had to go through and put an end into it. That's why the Ten of Swords is there. It's almost as if it just sort of like was this block so that it could never be able to follow you towards where you're going. But don't get it twisted. They will always find a way. But you also have to find a way to counteract each attack that these ones are trying to do to you. It's a never-ending battle where, you know, the light versus the dark has to be at play here. No longer wanting to be in this polarized mindset, but looking to find a way to become balanced so that you can then eventually step back into unity consciousness. That's the kind of like the end goal, but it's so difficult to do down here because so many people have been, you know, fractured, consciously molested, experimented on without consent, lied to for so many years, destroyed, consumed. And at some point, you know, enough is enough. The card underneath the bottom of the deck we have is the Three of Cups. So there is a feeling of, remember what I was saying before about holding sacred space. Even though sometimes when people may be really angry and they come off a certain way, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to engage. Doesn't mean that by you not engaging them, it makes you weak. That's quite the opposite. But there's a feeling of holding that space, standing in your own power, ground yourself, heart-centered, and in a sense kind of like allowing this person at some point, you know, to finish off whatever it is that they're doing and know that one day you will all meet and reunite again, because this is what it will be about. It will be eventually. I don't know how long it's going to take, how long is a piece of rope, how wide is an actual lane, you know. There will be a reunion one day. And I feel that's something that there is hope there. Even amongst despair, hope must still be there somewhere. So let's move on now to the oracle cards. So what I got from this first card we got is the Scene. So you're seeing through the veil, you're cutting through all of the BS. You can see clearly now, the moment that you've moved away from all of that nonsense and the merry-go-rounds of confusion and narratives and intels and gurus and I've got the only, you know, saver type mentality and I've got the truth that you need to know. It's all bullshit. Oh, please. And you've kind of like seen through all of that now. You see the codes, you see everything, you've seen the layers, and you're just peeling back, you know, like the onion skinning, you know, revealing more, getting rid of more. For some of you, I see here as well, that some of you have actually may have experienced some kind of different reality where you have come across a future version of this planet, or even on your own home planet, if you are, somebody who you know damn well that you're not from here, you're from your home planet. And there's this feeling of familiarity, like this is where, I've seen this and this is what I'm envisioning, this is what I'm aiming for. But also the way how I see it as well is kind of giving me this kind of like Eden type energy. The restoration of the way how things were meant to be before the invasion of those, all of those eons ago that came in to destroy and disrupt this planet or library of a planet. And then we've got the destiny life. You're not laying down and accepting your fate. You're moving towards where you know that you're being called to. So going through one timeline into another timeline. But some of you're skipping timelines so quickly. That's why, again, it feels as if there's not enough hours in the day. People may say, oh, you've really changed. Like, even if it's been a month since I last saw you, I'm just making an example. But they know that something within you has shifted. You may even start to get conversations with certain people, whether you see them on the streets, even people that you know. And they may even start talking to you about certain things that they never would have spoken to you about before. And then again, that's kind of confirmation. For some of you as well, you are seeing, you can feel like who is real and who isn't. It's becoming even more stronger, even more apparent. And I feel that that's where like you make your decisions and you ask for guidance about which direction, like where you're going to go, which route do I take to go to certain places if you have to go out. But this destiny, again, there's a saying that we are all part of each other's journey, but not each other's destination. I mean, the final destination will be, we all will one day, hopefully, return to source. But that is, I wouldn't even think about that right now. It's only what's going on in the present moment that's important. But there's this feeling of like, I need to follow my destiny. And what I was dealing with right here in this, that was part of my journey. But now it's time to break away. So you're may come across or start to notice a lot of people breakaway groups to form other groups. Because of the realization that something just isn't right. We're just getting fed a whole heap of jackanories and we're not really getting the truth, and we know it, we feel it, we see it. So the freedom card came up, and I feel that this was like what you're fighting for, what you're moving away from. I want my fucking freedom. Okay, I don't want to be saying trapped with this Draco ship energy, right? That is just going to keep me like this, bound into this nonsense. And then that's me. Okay, so don't want that anymore. And that's why you making that decision to break away from it, whether you can start to breathe, you can start to feel the expansion in your lungs. But know damn well that he is not going to stop. They will always find a strategical way to entice people back into their web of deception and control. They hate it when you leave them alone and leave them. They hate that shit. You just want simplicity. You just want to have an easy life. You just want... And another thing, the moment that you start cutting away all of this, things become more clearer. You can start to see things a lot more. You can start to make those plans. You're no longer living in fear because you're walking in the realm of fearlessness. And that's a big difference. Something, again, that they can't have. The system is cracking up and breaking down. And it has to break down. It has to be destroyed. And the only ones that are keeping it going are those who are consciously attached to it. They may be fighting against it, but they're still there. But, you know, there is people that are still leaving, and the cracks are starting to appear. And then underneath the bottom of the deck for the Oracle card, we've got create some space. And I feel that this was kind of like the card that really brought this home, this message as well coming through. Even though we are aware, it doesn't mean we don't care. But it's time for you to start creating some space. For others of you, it's a feeling of like, hey, maybe going up into space and just getting the fuck out of it. But whatever this is, I don't feel that even if you were to leave this place, that it ends for you, because it doesn't. And I do feel that there are those who will be briefed on other parts of your mission, other parts of who you're meant to be, what you're meant to be coming into, which is back into your original self, your form, your consciousness, because nothing is new. It's just you returning and remembering who you are. And the moment that you do, you're going to start to feel so much different, so much stranger, even more powerful, but not in an arrogant, egotistical way. It feels like sacred truth to you. No more entangled in this low level, this low vibrational level of this low quantum entanglement, because you transcended through all of that nonsense now. It's all bullshit. You've got to know yourself, meditate. Who am I? The veil is lifting and opening. We also got rise into Pleiadian frequencies, the sacred bond, healing clears space for higher energies. And we already had, you know, create some space. So let's kind of finish off and see what messages that we're going to get from this deck. I'm going to just pull a couple of cards and see how it goes. Okay. I love this deck, but it's kind of heavy to shuffle. The card that wants to come through is a message. Peace beyond survival. Peacemaker through inner peace. Resolving ancient splits. This card keeps on coming up so often, even when I do my own readings for myself. This card is just constantly popping up. And I feel that this really speaks through whoever can resonate with this card. This feeling of like making peace, no longer in survival mode. Even the language that you speak, if you're speaking English or any other Terran-based language, all that feels as if it's, you know, you're moving beyond all of that. You're returning to your original soul language or light language. Another thing that they don't like you speaking in light language. They like you speaking in the shit languages that they've got ahead. All of these languages, even this English language that I'm speaking right now, is designed for the slaves. Keeps you bound. Remember, your thoughts become things, and words are very powerful. So whatever you say, and you're putting energy behind that, and you're taking action on it, you're going to create the reality that you may or may not like, and they're going to bound you to it. Every day is a constant battle for you to stay in your sovereignty. They don't want you to be in peace, they want you to be in pieces. The next card that I've got is ether and matter, spiritualized matter, new life, sparkles, bedding in the light. So there's this feeling of this connection. I'm really getting like the connection here with this Page of Swords, kind of a bit similar in the way how, you've got this glowing thing going on, and the ether and the matter, like joining forces, becoming intertwined with one another, receiving those messages, creating the reality that you want, but it's the actions that you're going to take, the new life that is, that you want to see for yourself and for others. Interesting with the sparkles as well. The next card that wants to come through, the next message that wants to come through. Cities of light. Telos, Adama, inner earth, etheric retreats, family of light. I am getting, the only thing that is really popping out at me right now is this section here, family of light. And light is very important here. There's something about these, as I said, you may have been experiencing or seeing certain elements or certain lights and orbs and that coming round. Very faint, or sometimes if you catch it out of the corner of your eyes. And etheric retreats. I am picking up from this card here with a scene. I really get that some of you have been also seeing visions of inner earth as well. But that feels very, very rare, not many people. There could be some kind of connection that you actually have there with inner earth. And the next card. Alright. Divine Masculine. Rise of true, gentle power, true strength. It kind of ties back up with this line energy as well. Man sort of like creating a better field for oneself. The rise of true, gentle power. You don't have to be so like physically violent. You can be physically weak, but spiritually strong. And I just feel you're also somebody that's very like, you're kind of like really mindful with your words. This doesn't really stick to about gender, but more like the energy that is within as well. And I feel that for some of you, this is about really trying to heal the distorted masculine energy, either within yourself or you see it in others as well. But there is this feeling as well, this sort of force that's, really pushing up this distorted masculine energy to be healed with the divine feminine. And then the card underneath the bottom of the deck is, know yourself. Meditate, who am I, veil is lifting and opening. I will pull another card because we did have that one already. Just give you a little bonus one. Yeah. Star children, no veil, psychic, different, cosmic inspiration. And again, it's got this light thing going on. And what I'm really picking up is the no veils, psychic. Definitely a lot of abilities coming back online. You're seeing that the veil is as thin as anything now. For some of you, it's like you can sort of like see certain phasings of maybe like just a little glimpse, a flash of something, and then when you look, it's not there, and you wonder, shit, am I seeing things? You're tapping into higher frequencies, which is pushing you through the veil even more. It's almost like it's giving me, again, this card of the scene. You're seeing things either in your waking life, or this can be in the dream life as well. So this is really, really interesting to see. And the different word as well is, to me, where people can see you differently. They're starting to notice that you're moving different, you're saying certain things different. Even the way how you dress is very different. And I am getting star children, but I am more feeling the inner child as well. That's being protected and healed at this time as well. So this is the reading that I've actually got. This message that wanted to come through for the collective. Sorry that it's taken so long, but seems to be a lot that wants to be said here. Don't forget that I usually would say that this is a daily reading, but the way how things are right now, I feel with all of us, it's almost as if as and when these messages need to come through, because I'm not feeling the rush to create readings every 5 seconds. There is also that feeling of needing to step back and hold sacred space for myself, as I'm also going through these changes with you all too. All right, so thank you so much for watching. If you came to the end, watched the end, thank you so much. And really and truly do take care of yourselves. Don't stop shielding your energies, grounding yourself, using discernment every single day. This is a commitment that you must hold on to dearly. Okay, take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll see you in the next reading.